I did.
It's really, yeah. There's no clutch on him. Happy New Year. Even though that girl said she's okay, I don't know. Are you sure you're okay? Bro, you can't be beating on no girl, bro. No.
Don't just go. You gonna deal with the problem.
Right.
Here.
Later that evening, Jamal was arrested by the cheek-slaying task force for being a beta male simp who couldn't control his emotions.
Mobile Task Force Unit Epsilon 11 designated.
Do you think men are important? Like for what? Well, police honor a man for rescuing a teenage girl in downtown Phoenix last month, and police say that Josh Jones stepped in when a girl you see here on camera was assaulted while waiting for her boyfriend. And you can see Jones in the highlighted area right here, and the guy trying to take the girl down to the ground. He took the man to the ground himself and sat on him, as you can see there, until officers arrived. Well, Josh was recognized by the Phoenix police for his heroic actions. He told police he did what he thought was right to do.
This brave, ferocious young man was a hero. But in today's society, it's unfortunate and an absolute travesty that some women look at men like this.
Men are horrible. I mean, I have to just tell it to you like it is, honey, but all men are awful.
As a heterosexual female, I think we could all agree that the number one reason we are not dating is men.
Man, shut the hell up. Hey, shut the hell up.
Remember, men are replaceable. But you know what's not replaceable? Your gorgeous, fat ass. Okay? He's missing out, not you.
Be quiet. Cook. Shh.
With modern day feminism, women are entitled, empowered, simultaneously a victim.
How to not approach girls at the gym.
I hate this. I hate this. I hate when there's sweet days. It makes me so uncomfortable. Feral, 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 like fucking feral. There's mirrors everywhere, so it's like you can easily catch people.
About the butt.
This is nothing.
About the butt. About the butt. About the butt.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the 35s now. I want you to watch very carefully.
She's not mad, he's staring at her. She's mad, he's doing it for free.
The 5 adds £5. And these are the rates.
Sweetheart, you might think this guy is some kind of pervert, but in actuality, he's just making sure you're safe because you look like the type of girl that will crush herself at the squat rack.
That lady attempted.
He needs some milk.
And with that image in the back of that man's mind, he's probably sitting there thinking, when are you going to complete your set so you can leave, scram, and piss off? Because ain't nobody staring at that number 2 pencil stick looking ass, her chest flatter than the yoga mat she's sitting on, flat as the surface of the earth.
He needs some milk.
And have you guys ever noticed that the girl with the flattest pair of tits always have the most to say? Like, damn, haven't you gotten everything off your chest already? And it's funny because women be like,
that's being an IWWDNNM.
What?
An independent woman who don't need no man.
Until shit hits the fan. this random civilian comes out of nowhere, literally falls from the fucking sky, as if he's been training and waiting for this moment his whole life, discombobulates and disarms this gunman at gunpoint and saved this woman's life. And you know how the modern woman will thank this brave civilian? Like this.
I have a boyfriend.
Never underestimate an overly paranoid Karen to make herself feel unsafe in any situation, even when she sees a man getting smushed by a 25-ton automobile.
Can you please get some help?
Let me guess. You saw me walking, pulled over, then flipped your car and pinned yourself under it just to get my attention?
Crazy times that we're living in, boys. Now in today's video, we are going to look at the brave and courageous men who risk it all, put their lives on the line to save our lovely, wonderful ladies.
You're like a dream come true.
Fucking cat!
An incredible act of bravery caught on camera. A man sprinting across several lanes of Interstate 93 near Boston, dodging traffic to save a driver in distress.
Si se me presenta 10,000 veces más lo hago.
Adolfo Molina is the man running alongside the blue car as it speeds in the shoulder next to the median. Molina trying to open one of the doors. He says he first noticed the driver unconscious behind the wheel.
Ahí yo me doy cuenta de.
Tell me why I'm not surprised that behind that wheel was a woman, unconscious.
I watched a woman crash. The
Que la mujer va inconsciente y mareada, chocando con la pared, con la ventana, así.
That's when he pulled over his own truck to help. The risky move, a dangerous attempt, but Molina believes his own safety was in the care of someone else's hands.
Fue como algo de Dios que me protegió en ese transcurso.
His wife Maite thinking about what could have happened.
The first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, and then I was like, oh my God, I would have become a widow and my children.
Eventually, another driver was able to help Molina bring the car to a stop until police arrived. The 25-year-old Uber driver, originally from the Dominican Republic, honored by his local mayor and the Dominican consulate in Boston for his bravery.
Dice Dominicano destacado en el exterior, el Instituto Dominicano y Dominicano en el Exterior, INDE, reconoce con orgullo a Adolfo Molina Burgos.
Molina hoping he gets the chance to reconnect with that driver. But for now, he's grateful for the outpouring of support to the now viral video, seen more than 1 million times.
Muchas gracias a todo lo que me han comentado, todo lo que me han dado un like en TikTok.
Valerie, that gave me goosebumps. Just watching that man run and maneuver between traffic fearlessly. The technique on that running form was fucking immaculate. The man has the speed of a Usain Bolt, the perspicaciousness of an Andrew Tate, and the fucking strides like a damn gazelle. And it's crazy because this is the type of shit you see out of Marvel films. This man is a real life superhero, and it's absolutely incredible.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American.
A stranger risking his own life for a random person who he has never met and potentially saving the other people around him. Unfucking believable. But in some cases, the man is not so fortunate.
A woman who stopped to help a crash victim ended up getting saved herself.
And tonight, that Good Samaritan spoke to the father of the man she says died, saving her life.
And what you ladies need to understand is that a man is willing to sacrifice his own life, die for you, just for you to have a second chance at life. And rest in peace to this brave warrior who sacrificed his life and put everything on this line for this woman.
Lindsay Longoria says she barely got a chance to exchange a few words with Michael Donnelly before both of them were struck by a passing car. They were brought here to Methodist Dallas, where Donnelly was pronounced dead and where Longoria is still recovering. And it was here today, she told us, she wanted his family to know how he spent his final moments.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Don't know.
That's okay.
Lindsay Longoria called a grieving father, only to find the comfort she needed.
It's okay.
Longoria and her family were on Highway 67 in Dallas Sunday night.
But we saw the man in the middle of the road, and his car was sideways. We almost hit him.
She, her boyfriend, and her sister got out to help an accident victim push his car off the road.
That's when Mr. Donnelly showed up, and he said, "Y'all ladies don't need to be out here pushing on in this car."
Moments later, she says Michael Donnelly, a complete stranger to her, saved her.
I just felt this big old hand grab my shirt and yank me into his body, and he surrounded me, and we got hit. And I hit the ground, and I didn't know what happened. I didn't even know it was him.
On the phone with former Texas Rangers coach Rich Donnelly, Longoria recounted the crash that killed his son.
He's past saving my life. If it wasn't for him, I would not be here today.
Honey, he was a good boy.
Longoria broke her leg and suffered several deep cuts. But tonight she is grateful her two sons still have a mother and that Michael's family knows the truth.
But that man died a hero. My hero, at least.
And girls will still be like,
all men are awful.
This man deserves a national holiday. Can you guys imagine how the world will be if there's more people like this guy?
A truck was keeping Taylor O'Neill from getting to work Monday afternoon.
That's when I honked, and they didn't move or anything, so that's when I went up to the vehicle.
And what he saw, he never expected.
When I tapped, kind of tapped on the window, then she looked up, and I could see the duct tape on her face and the fear in her eyes.
Because of that knock at the window, the woman was able to jump out of the truck, and O'Neill called 911.
Lieutenant of Police 911, what is your emergency?
As soon as I walked up, knocked on the window, she had her mouth duct taped, and he was on top of her in the passenger seat.
Santa Ana police say O'Neill stumbled upon an attempted rape in progress. They say 27-year-old Jorge Alejandro Cruz de Llamas offered his female victim, who was walking, a ride to the bank in his truck, but instead took her to this alley, placed duct tape on her mouth, and tried to rape her. They were able to find the suspect thanks to O'Neill's quick thinking.
I had my phone in my left hand and was able to open up my camera and take photos of him, of his license plate and everything as he drove off. And then immediately called 911.
Had that not have happened, who knows if what would have happened to the victim. He provided us with the information, and that's why this individual's in custody.
O'Neill says he's glad he was able to help, but doesn't consider himself a hero.
I would like to think anybody in that situation would do the same thing.
Bruce Lee is out there somewhere in heaven, smiling down at this man, a real martial artist, a man who trains not for his ego, but for the protection and the others around him, even
Kareem gobblers.
And ladies, let me make this very clear, because sometimes common knowledge is not common practice. So ladies, please do not get into a random stranger's car for a free ride. Get an Uber. Ladies, don't open your front door to a stranger when nobody is home. Nor, please, don't take anything from a stranger. Mr. Tate, may you educate our lovely ladies.
Saying that we need to teach men not to rape. And I said, my dear, I love how idealistic you are, but I am realistic. Men are already taught not to rape. She's like, no, we need to go and change language at school and rewrite history and do all the shit they're trying to do to make men weak because they think that weak men don't rape, which is another argument I want to come back to because weak men are the most dangerous men on the planet. Let's talk about that later. But I said, no, people already understand that rape is wrong. Unfortunately, human nature, some people don't care about doing wrong things. We should teach people not to steal, but they still steal. Would you agree that everyone says don't steal? The Bible says don't steal. The Quran says don't steal. Schools say don't steal. Everyone says don't steal. People still steal. So if I were to take $1 million in cash and walk down the street at night in the worst part of town holding it, to a degree, I would have some responsibility. When I got robbed, the police would come and say, why did you do that? People would say, Andrew, why did you do that? You have to protect yourself from things. You can't just rely on the ideological hope that other people in the world are going to be perfect and infallible, or that the law is going to prevent it. You have to say, no, I can't walk through the ghetto at 2 a.m. with $1 million in cash. I take personal responsibility. She agreed. I said, then by extension, would you agree that the smartest thing a woman can do to prevent rape is not to sit here on a podcast and try and change the way men think and talk about your bullshit, but to take some degree of personal responsibility and not put yourself in dangerous situations? I'm not saying that's going to prevent all rape. I'm not saying that rape is okay. Rapists should be executed. I'm not saying that every single woman who was ever assaulted could have prevented it. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying the smartest thing a woman can do is say, this is dangerous. Going home with this guy I just met is dangerous. Walking through this area by myself is dangerous. Let me call a taxi. Let me call my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Tate, for your input. Now, speaking of weak men will always be the downfall and will always be the destruction in our community. Because a few days ago, right down from the street where I live, an elderly woman was brutally beaten and robbed. And unfortunately, she passed away.
In Oakland is starting this new year in grief. Their loved one, a longtime postal worker, was stabbed to death while walking home after finishing her shift. A suspect has been arrested, but a motive is still unclear. Our crime reporter Henry Lee is here after talking with the woman's family. And Henry, the lack of a motive here must only add to their pain.
Yeah, Heather, they're just heartbroken and struggling to understand why anyone would attack a well-known member of the community who sorted mail, helped tend a community garden, and was a caretaker for her life partner.
3 houses away, she was almost home, but she's not coming home.
Miles Spruill is devastated. His mother, veteran postal worker Dilma Spruill, had just left work and was walking home in West Oakland when she was attacked on the street.
Somebody came up, stabbed her multiple times.
Spruill, who was 71 years old, died at the scene. Oakland police arrested a suspect, 28-year-old Wilbert Winchester, who's been charged with murder. A motive for the attack not yet known.
So I want to share this video to pay my condolences to Miles and his family, because I know his family is going through tough times, and we want to send our thoughts and prayers for you, bro.
Her son had this message for the alleged killer.
I bid you peace and I bid you farewell. You took my best friend. You took the only last living birth parent that I have.
It happened at about 12:30 early Wednesday morning. Spruill had finished her shift sorting mail at the post office on 7th Street. She's been a postal worker for almost 2 decades. She was walking home in the middle of the night, which she usually does with no problem. But she was stabbed near 8th and Henry Streets around the corner from her home.
What the people that was cleaning up the blood, it was right here. So if anything, she normally doesn't walk up and then across the street because that's kind of backtracking, so she walks at it.
Spruill and her son were caregivers for her longtime partner, Welton Jackson, who uses a wheelchair and undergoes dialysis.
27 years.
27 years.
I hope there's justice. I hope you find whatever you need to take for you to heal. I'm not right. I won't ever be right. It's going to take me some time.
Fellas, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.